If I tell you that the small and ordinary looking 1969 mint marked D1 cent USA coin you might have in your piggy bank, your drawer, or even lying forgotten under the couch cushions could secretly be hiding a value of $7 million in history, would you believe it? Because the truth is that coins like these have shocked collectors, historians, and everyday people when discovered in circulation, turning what seems like a single penny into life-changing fortune. And the story of the 1969 D penny goes deeper than just age, because it carries with it mysteries of minting errors, variations, conditions, and rarity factors that make it so valuable. And when we dive into the background, we realize that the Denver Mint was producing billions of pennies in 1969, so finding the one coin that stands out from the rest seems impossible. Yet a handful of examples slip through with distinct qualities that collectors and investors go crazy for, and that is why today the 1969 mint marked D penny is not just a piece of copper, but a piece of American history worth millions. And you might wonder how a coin with a face value of just 1 cent jumps into the multi-million-dollar range, and the answer lies in the world of numismatics, where scarcity, demand, and historical significance drive up prices to astronomical levels, because whenever coins show unique doubling on the date, lettering, or mint mark, or whenever they were struck on the wrong planchet, collectors label them as error coins. And those are the exact coins that change lives. And in 1969 some pennies came out with errors that experts say were never meant to be in circulation, and these mistakes have turned into treasures. So imagine holding a penny you thought was worthless only to learn it is worth $7 million, because of doubling on the obverse side, misstrikes, or a unique condition verified by top grading services. And auction houses have seen collectors battling over rare coins like these, sometimes raising the price far beyond anyone's expectations. And the truth is that the coin market thrives on stories like these because they fuel the dream that any one of us could stumble upon hidden fortune in pocket change, and that dream is what keeps people checking their coins every single day. And the 1969 D penny is one of those legends that still gets people excited, because it proves that you don't need gold or silver to find value. Sometimes copper itself can be worth more than a fortune, and it is not just the rarity that matters but also the grade, because the higher the grade closer to mint state condition, the more valuable the coin becomes. So if you ever come across a shiny, well-preserved 1969 D penny, you should never ignore it, because even minor errors or unusual qualities can multiply its value dramatically. And experts always remind us that while billions were minted, only a tiny fraction survive with the exact attributes that make them worth millions. So when you understand this reality, you realize why coin hunting has become such a popular and thrilling hobby, because each coin in your pocket is a potential lottery ticket, and history has shown us that coins like the 1969 D penny continue to pop up in unexpected places, sometimes inherited in old collections, sometimes found in pocket change, sometimes tucked away in jars that have been untouched for decades. And every discovery adds fuel to the legend, making people more eager to search. And what makes this coin even more fascinating is that it is not just a piece of money but a symbol of how small mistakes at the mint can create millionaires out of ordinary people, and this truth has been proven time and again. So you should always remember to look closely at your pennies because that is where the hidden treasures lie. And when you think about the story of this coin, you see how something so small carries such a massive impact. Because $7 million is not just a number, it is a house, a lifetime of financial security, dreams coming true, and all that packed into a coin most people overlook every single day. And that is why stories of rare pennies spread so fast, becoming viral and trending, because everyone loves the idea of finding unexpected fortune, and the 1969 D penny with its multi-million-dollar value has become the face of that dream. And before you spend another penny or toss one aside, check the date, check the mint mark, and check for errors, because one small detail could be the key to life-changing wealth. And just think about the excitement, the rush, the disbelief of realizing you have been holding $7 million in the palm of your hand without even knowing it. And that is why collectors, historians, treasure hunters, and everyday dreamers keep their eyes on these coins, because miracles are hidden in plain sight. And this 1969 mint-marked 1-cent USA coin is living proof that history and value can collide in the most unexpected ways. So if you enjoyed this story and want more secrets about coins worth millions hiding in everyday life, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for even more unbelievable discoveries that could change your life forever. Next, 1964 1-cent USA coin. Imagine for a moment that you are digging through an old jar of coins that has been sitting untouched for decades on a shelf or in the corner of a cabinet. Coins that once jingled in the pockets of your parents or grandparents. Coins that passed through countless hands in shops, gas stations, and diners during a time when life looked completely different. And suddenly you notice a 1964 no mint mark USA 1-cent coin, and at first glance it looks just like any other penny, the same copper shine or maybe even a darker patina from years of circulation. But little do you know that this one ordinary-looking piece of metal could secretly be worth an astonishing $9 million, a value so massive that it instantly transforms this penny from pocket change into a life-changing treasure. And the fascinating part is that coins like this exist because of the way history, rarity, errors, and collector demand intersect in the world of numismatics, where something as small as a missing mint mark can push a coin into legendary status. And the 1964 penny is one of those coins that captures the imagination of millions, not only because of its age but also because of its place in American history, since 1964 was a turning point year when the United States Mint was transitioning designs, dealing with huge demands for coinage, and phasing out silver from circulating coins, so every piece of currency produced that year has a story. But the 1964 no mint mark penny carries a story like no other, because it challenges our perception of what value really means, as it proves that even the lowest denomination coin can carry the highest worth when rarity and condition align perfectly. And let us break down why this tiny coin holds such an astronomical value, because billions of Lincoln cents were minted in 1964. And most of them are still out there in circulation or sitting in collections. So what makes one particular penny worth $9 million while the rest are worth just 1 cent? And the answer lies in a unique combination of factors, including the absence of a mint mark, a perfect strike, possible doubled dies or planchet errors, and above all the sheer rarity of surviving specimens that meet the criteria collectors crave. Because while mint marks indicate where a coin was produced, pennies without mint marks can sometimes represent experimental runs, transitional errors, or simply rare production oversights that make them stand apart from the masses. And that is exactly what happened with certain 1964 pennies, making them phenomenally rare, and rarity always drives demand, and when demand skyrockets at auctions where wealthy collectors battle for the chance to own a piece of history, the price tag inevitably climbs into the millions, and that is how 1 cent becomes $9 million. And the story does not end there, because condition plays a crucial role too. Since coins that are preserved in near-perfect mint state condition with sharp details, original luster, and no signs of wear are valued exponentially higher than those that are worn, and grading services like PCGS and NGC authenticate and grade these coins, sealing their reputation and boosting their market value. And imagine the shock of someone who innocently sends in a 1964 penny for grading only to discover that it is a rare no mint mark variety worth millions. And this shock has actually happened before in the coin community, where ordinary people became millionaires overnight thanks to pennies they never thought twice about. And that is the magic of numismatics, the idea that history is hiding in plain sight inside our everyday change. And this is why treasure hunters, collectors, and even casual hobbyists keep searching through coin rolls, jars, and pocket change every single day, because each coin carries the possibility of being the golden ticket to wealth. And the 1964 no mint mark penny represents that dream more than most, because it is the ultimate underdog story, the lowest coin in value rising to the highest in worth. And when you reflect on that, it becomes clear why this penny has captured so much attention and continues to trend among coin enthusiasts. Because nothing ignites the imagination like the possibility that you already own something this valuable without knowing it. And what makes the 1964 penny even more fascinating is the historical context, because during this era, President Lyndon B. Johnson had just signed The Coinage Act of 1965, which eliminated silver from dimes and quarters, while the mint was under intense pressure to keep up with the nation's growing demand for coins, which led to production quirks, minting shortcuts, and occasional mistakes. And these mistakes today are worth their weight in gold, literally millions of dollars, because they create the rare varieties that collectors dream of. And the 1964 penny is a perfect example, since some coins slipped through the cracks without mint marks, making them anomalies in a year of massive production, and anomalies always carry historic and financial weight, and that is why a 1964 no-mint mark penny in pristine condition could fetch as high as $9 million at auction, because it represents not only money but a story, a connection to American history, and a dream for every collector. And the amazing part is that these coins are not locked away in museums. They could be anywhere, in your pocket right now, in an old collection passed down from family, in jars that no one has checked for decades, or even hiding in coin rolls from your local bank. And this possibility is what makes the hunt so addictive, because the next life-changing coin could literally be in your hands without you realizing it. And the moment you recognize the power of this truth, you start to see coins differently, no longer as small pieces of metal but as potential keys to fortune. And this perspective has inspired countless stories of everyday people who became wealthy because of a penny, and one day soon it could inspire you, because all it takes is curiosity, a careful eye, and the courage to check your change. So remember that the 1964 no-mint mark penny is not just worth $9 million in financial terms, it is worth even more in terms of inspiration, because it proves that hidden treasures exist all around us, waiting to be discovered. And if you ever find one, you will understand what it feels like to hold history and wealth at the same time. And that feeling is priceless, so always check your pennies carefully, because one day you could be holding the $9 million treasure that changes your life forever. And if this incredible story excites you, then make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for even more unbelievable coin discoveries that could turn your pocket change into a fortune. Next, 1970 61-cent USA coin. Think about this for just 1 second. You are holding a simple copper penny, the same coin that millions of Americans used to buy candy, bubble gum, or to feed a parking meter decades ago. The same coin that today most people wouldn't even bother to bend down and pick up if they saw it lying on the street. And yet within the world of numismatics, hidden in circulation and locked inside old jars of change, there exists a 1976 mint marked USA 1-cent coin that is not only rare but so extraordinary in its story that it has been valued as high as $6 million. And when you realize this shocking truth, it changes the way you look at money forever, because suddenly that worthless penny is not worthless at all but instead a piece of American history, a symbol of minting mystery, and an object of desire for collectors who are willing to pay sums that most of us could never imagine. And the story of the 1970 60 penny begins at the Denver Mint, where billions of Lincoln cents were struck that year to celebrate America's bicentennial era, a time when patriotism was high and coinage was being produced in massive quantities to keep up with demand. Yet as history has shown us, even during years of high production, anomalies, errors, and special varieties slip through the cracks, and these rare misfits are what change ordinary coins into million-dollar treasures. And the 1970 60 penny is one of those miracles, because among the billions of coins struck that year, only a tiny handful are known to have errors, doubling, planchet mistakes, or other unique features that make them stand apart. And once a coin is deemed unique, rare, and authenticated by grading services, it transforms from pocket change into life-changing wealth. And that is why the 1970 60 penny is not just another coin but a $6 million legend. And what makes this even more exciting is that pennies from the 1970s are still very common in circulation, meaning the chance of discovery is very real, because unlike ancient Roman coins or medieval gold pieces locked away in museums, Lincoln cents from the 70s still show up in everyday change, and the possibility that your next penny could be worth more than a mansion, luxury cars, or an entire lifetime of financial security is what keeps collectors and treasure hunters searching nonstop. And when you think about the psychology of it, this is why the coin collecting hobby has exploded in popularity in recent years, because people love the thrill of a treasure hunt, They love the idea that something so small, overlooked, and ordinary could secretly hold unimaginable value, and the 1976 penny encapsulates that dream perfectly, because it proves that mistakes at the mint can become million-dollar miracles. And when you study the details of why this coin is worth so much, you realize that value in numismatics comes from three main forces: rarity, condition, and demand. And the 1976 penny checks all three boxes, because first, rarity is achieved when errors or unique strikes occur. Second, condition is vital, since only coins preserved in high-grade states with their original luster and sharp details can reach astronomical values. And third, demand drives up price as collectors fight to own a piece of numismatic legend, and the 1976 penny has become a holy grail for certain enthusiasts, fueling bidding wars at auctions that drive the value into the millions. And the reality is that coins like this don't just represent money, they represent history, because 1976 was a year tied deeply to America's 200th birthday, and though the Lincoln cent didn't carry a special bicentennial design like the quarter, half dollar, or dollar, it still became part of that national celebration, circulating through the hands of millions who were living in a moment of pride and patriotism. And so when one of those pennies emerges decades later as a rare and valuable treasure, it connects the owner to a powerful moment in American history while also rewarding them with incredible financial gain. And the fascinating part is that stories of rare coins like the 1976 penny continue to inspire people worldwide, because it is proof that miracles exist where you least expect them, hidden in plain sight, and the ordinary becomes extraordinary when you look closely enough. So imagine the thrill of discovering one of these coins, holding it in your palm, knowing that it is worth $6 million, realizing that in an instant your life has changed forever. And this is why people carefully inspect their coins with magnifying glasses, why they send pennies to professional grading companies like PCGS and NGC, and why they never take their change for granted, because in a world where fortunes are often hidden in rare art, diamonds, or real estate, numismatics offers a far more accessible treasure hunt, one that starts in your own pocket. And every single person has the chance to play, because everyone handles coins every day. And that is why the legend of the 1976 penny continues to spread, going viral across the internet, social media, and among collectors who know the thrill of discovery. Because nothing sparks curiosity like the thought that you might be holding millions in your hand without realizing it. And this is why you should always check your change, always look at the date, always look at the mint mark. Because one small detail could make the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth $6 million. And when that discovery happens, it is not just about the money, it is about the story, the legacy, and the connection to history that you now own. And as unbelievable as it sounds, the 1976 penny worth $6 million is very real, proving that even the smallest coin can carry the biggest treasure, so never underestimate the power of the penny. And if this story has opened your eyes to the hidden fortune sitting in your coins, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible discoveries that could transform your pocket change into unimaginable wealth. Next, 1974 1 cent USA coin. Picture this for a moment. You're standing at the checkout line, jingling a few coins in your pocket, and you casually hand over a penny without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of those ordinary little copper coins from 1974 with a mint mark D could secretly be worth not just a cent but an unimaginable $4 million? Yes, you heard that right. A simple 1 cent piece struck at the Denver Mint in 1974 has stunned the world of collectors, investors, and treasure hunters alike because of its incredible rarity, its mysterious history, and the powerful way demand drives its value to astronomical heights. And when you realize that this coin could be hiding in plain sight, sitting in a jar of pennies you haven't checked for decades, lying forgotten in a drawer, or even rattling inside your piggy bank, suddenly the story of the 1974 penny becomes a thrilling treasure hunt that captures the imagination, because the truth is that not all pennies are created equal. While billions were struck for circulation, a handful carry errors, unique strikes, or qualities that make them so rare that collectors are willing to pay millions to own them, and the 1974 mint mark D penny has proven this fact time and again. rising in status as one of the most valuable and iconic 1-cent pieces in history. And when we dig deeper into the reasons why this coin carries such value, we find a perfect storm of history, minting quirks, condition rarity, and collector obsession. Because the 1970s were an era of transition for the U.S. Mint, copper prices were rising, discussions about changing coin compositions were underway, and the Mint experimented with striking coins on different planchets including aluminum, bronze, and even transitional metals, and these experiments created some legendary rarities, some of which slipped through and became the multi-million-dollar treasures collectors dream of, and the 1974 D penny falls right into this category, because while most pennies that year were copper alloy, a few have surfaced with unique characteristics that defy expectations, making them numismatic wonders. And here's where things get fascinating. When a coin carries a Denver Mint mark, it means it was produced at one of the busiest U.S. mints, and billions were churned out, so the odds of finding a unique one are incredibly slim. Yet that slim chance is exactly what transforms a penny into a $4 million jackpot, and the rarity alone would be enough, but combine it with historical significance, the iconic Lincoln cent design, and the sheer demand from collectors across the world, and suddenly you see why auction houses have placed sky-high values on specimens like the 1974 D penny. Because numismatics is not just about money, it's about owning a piece of history, about holding in your hand something that survived decades, untouched, with a story carved into its metal. And when collectors see that opportunity, they compete fiercely, driving prices higher and higher until the unimaginable becomes reality. And the truth is that stories like this inspire everyday people everywhere, because the idea that you could stumble upon a penny worth $4 million in your spare change feels like modern-day treasure hunting, and people love the thrill of that chase. It fuels the coin roll hunting community. It keeps collectors scanning coin jars and estate sales, and it gives hope to the idea that life-changing fortune could be hiding in something as ordinary as a penny. And when you think about the math, it gets even more exciting, because billions of pennies are in circulation, but only a handful are worth millions, so statistically the chances are tiny, but still very real, and that chance is what creates excitement, because even if 1 in a billion odds exist, someone eventually finds that coin, and when they do, their life is changed forever. And this is why experts and grading companies like PCGS and NGC play such an important role, because they authenticate, grade, and preserve these treasures, confirming to the world that they are genuine and sealing their value. And if you've ever seen the look on a collector's face when their coin comes back from grading with a rare designation, you'll understand why people chase after coins like the 1974 D penny with such passion, because it's not just a coin anymore, it's a story, a dream, a financial miracle, and an irreplaceable piece of American history. And what makes this penny even more remarkable is that it stands as a reminder of how small details matter. A missing mint mark, a doubled die, a wrong planchet, or an unusual strike, all of these seemingly tiny mistakes become the foundation for life-changing value. So the next time you glance at your change and think nothing of it, remember that inside those small copper discs could be your ticket to $4 million. And that ticket doesn't come with flashy gold or diamonds, it comes disguised as the humblest coin in circulation, the Lincoln cent, and that is why the story of the 1974 Mint Mark D penny has gone viral, because everyone loves the idea that fortune is hiding in plain sight, and that dream is what makes numismatics so thrilling, because the treasure isn't locked in vaults or buried underground, it's right there in the coins we touch every single day. And if you ever find yourself lucky enough to stumble upon one of these 1974 D pennies, you will know the excitement of holding history and wealth all in the palm of your hand. So always check your change, never overlook a penny, because the 1974 Mint Mark D USA 1 cent could turn your ordinary day into the most extraordinary moment of your life. And if this incredible story of hidden fortune excites you, then make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for even more shocking discoveries that prove your spare change could secretly be worth millions. Next, 1982 1 cent USA coin. Imagine this for just one moment. You are sitting at your kitchen table, maybe sorting through a jar of pennies that's been collecting dust for years, the kind of jar that parents and grandparents often keep tucked away in cupboards or on a shelf. And as you pour those coins out onto the table, you notice one that looks like nothing special. A 1982 USA 1-cent coin with no mint mark at all, just the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln staring back at you, and you are seconds away from tossing it into the pile without care. But hidden in that very coin is a secret that could transform your life forever. Because certain 1982 no-mint mark pennies have shocked the world by reaching values as high as $5 million. Yes, a single copper-colored cent, the smallest coin in American circulation, can hold within it the power to change an ordinary life into one of unimaginable wealth. And that reality is what makes this coin one of the most exciting and legendary stories in numismatics, because it represents the dream of finding treasure where you least expect it, in plain sight, hiding in your pocket change. And to understand why this particular year and this particular penny became so valuable, we need to travel back in time to 1982, a year of monumental transition for the U.S. Mint, a year when copper prices had skyrocketed, making it too expensive to keep minting pennies entirely out of copper, and so the Mint made a historic decision to change the composition of the penny from the traditional 95% copper and 5% zinc alloy to a cheaper alternative made mostly of zinc with only a thin copper coating, and this switch created two very distinct types of 1982 pennies, the heavy copper ones and the lighter zinc-coated versions, and to add to the complexity, 1982 pennies were struck in multiple varieties. Large date and small date designs, with and without mint marks from different locations, creating a dizzying mix of possibilities, and in the chaos of that transition, certain no-mint mark 1982 pennies were struck in such rare and unusual ways that they became priceless, and among them, one variety stands above the rest, commanding millions of dollars from collectors who recognize its rarity and historical significance. Because think about it, billions of pennies were produced that year. But only a few carry the unique combination of features that elevate them into legendary status, and that is why rarity, condition, and demand all come together here in perfect harmony, making the 1982 no-mint mark penny a holy grail of American coinage. And what fascinates collectors even more is the fact that this coin, unlike others from centuries past, is not ancient or locked away in a museum. It is modern, recent, and still potentially circulating today, which means that right now, as you read this, you could unknowingly hold one in your hand. Or it could be waiting for you inside a coin jar in your home, and that possibility has fueled coin roll hunters and treasure seekers everywhere, who spend hours combing through bank rolls and family stashes in hopes of finding the million-dollar gem. And here's the thing, the absence of a mint mark on the 1982 penny isn't just a small design detail, it's a signifier of its origin and uniqueness. Because most coins from the Philadelphia Mint that year were struck without a mint mark. But when combined with transitional planchet errors or unusual die varieties, they become ultra rare, and it is those rare combinations that skyrocket in value. And imagine the rush of adrenaline someone feels when they discover that the penny they thought was ordinary is in fact one of the rare no-mint mark 1982 varieties worth millions. And when authenticated by leading grading companies like PCGS or NGC, it instantly becomes a ticket to wealth, sparking bidding wars at major auction houses where wealthy collectors fight tooth and nail to claim it, pushing its value higher and higher, until it reaches the unbelievable sum of $5 million. And that number isn't just arbitrary, it represents the powerful truth of supply and demand in numismatics. Because when something is so scarce that only a handful exist, and when collectors crave it desperately enough, the price knows no ceiling. And that is why the 1982 no-mint mark penny is more than just money, it is a symbol of possibility. A reminder that fortune often hides in the most ordinary of places, and the story of this coin has gone viral countless times because it taps into something universal, the dream of finding life-changing wealth by accident, the hope that maybe, just maybe, the penny in your pocket is not just a penny but a miracle in disguise, and people all over the world are checking their coins right now because of stories like this. Because every single 1982 penny you encounter could be the one. And that excitement is what makes the hunt so addictive, because you don't need to be rich to play, you don't need to buy rare art or invest in real estate. All you need is curiosity and a handful of coins, and if you're lucky enough to discover the right one, you will know the joy of turning 1 cent into $5 million overnight. And what makes it even more remarkable is the fact that the Lincoln cent design is so iconic, a tribute to one of the greatest presidents in American history. So in a way, these pennies carry not just financial value but cultural and historical weight, and owning one is like holding a piece of American legacy that also happens to be a financial miracle. And when you think about it deeply, it changes the way you see coins forever, because suddenly you realize that no coin is too small to matter, no penny is too insignificant to check, because greatness and fortune can hide in the humblest of places, and the 1982 no-mint mark penny proves that beyond a doubt. So always look at your pennies, study the dates, weigh them if possible, learn to recognize the small details that separate the ordinary from the extraordinary, because one small detail could be the difference between a coin worth a cent and a coin worth millions. And this is why collectors dedicate their lives to studying and searching, because the reward is not just money but the thrill of discovery, the adventure of hunting treasure in plain sight, and the incredible feeling of holding history in your hand. And one day it could be you telling the story of how you found a 1982 no-mint mark penny worth $5 million, and how that one tiny coin changed everything. So don't ignore your pennies, don't overlook what seems too small to matter, because sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest power. And if this story of hidden fortune has inspired you, then make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for even more unbelievable coin discoveries that could transform your spare change into the fortune of a lifetime.